Hi everyone, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you won't miss any tips. Today's travel tip takes you to Lommel in Belgium, where we experience the Carnival on the 15th of February. The GPS coordinates for this trip are always at the end of the video, so make sure to note them and head out for the adventure. On the 15th of February, there was a carnival in Lommel, a town in northern Belgium. And it wasn't the kind of event you'd think needs careful planning or analysis. Carnivals don't follow a schedule. A carnival just happens. You wake up to an ordinary morning, and a few hours later, you find yourself in the middle of a town where everything is louder, more colorful, and slightly removed from everyday reality. From the very first moments, you could feel that this day would be different. There was something unusual in the air, something between anticipation and mild chaos. People moved more slowly, as if they were in no rush, and at the same time, a bit quicker, as if afraid they might miss something important. Everyone had their own direction, yet they all ended up in the same place. At the carnival. Gradually, the streets filled with colors. Colors mixed with sounds, sounds with smells, and smells with feelings that are hard to describe. Music came from different directions, sometimes clear, sometimes muted, but always present. It wasn't music you'd play at home for dinner. It was music that surrounded you and decided to guide the rhythm of the entire town. People arrived in costumes that told their own stories. Some were elaborate, detailed, obviously prepared for weeks. Others were thrown together that morning in front of the mirror, a quick decision that it didn't have to be perfect this time. And those often had the most charm. Because Carnival isn't about perfection. It's about letting go. You see groups of friends laughing even before someone tells a joke. You see people who barely greet each other all year, but on the 15th of February, they hug as if they've known each other forever. And you see those who just stand, watch, and slowly get used to the fact that the world around them is following different rules. Perception at the carnival behaves strangely. Watches and phones lose their meaning. You don't know exactly what time it is, and you don't care. What matters is what's around you. Laughter beside you. Music that suddenly changes. A random conversation with someone whose name you won't remember, but whose voice you will. The smell of food mingles with the cold air. French fries, sweet pastries, something fried, something you can't quite identify, but it smells good. People eat without thinking, not because they're hungry, but because it belongs. Food at a carnival isn't about taste. It's about the moment. Gradually, you notice everyone changing slightly. Voices louder, movements freer, smiles wider. Some dance, even if it doesn't look like dancing. Others just nod to the rhythm, maybe without even consciously noticing. And nobody corrects anyone. Nobody tells you you're doing it wrong. Carnival has no right or wrong. The atmosphere gradually deepens. Not unpleasantly, but naturally. As if the entire space is filled with stories happening at once. Everyone has their own carnival, but they all intersect in one point. In Lommel. On the 15th of February. Somewhere between the music and the laughter, you realize you're smiling for no reason. You feel relaxed, even though you're tired. The noise doesn't bother you, neither do the crowds, nor standing and doing nothing. Because Carnival is exactly about that. About being. About being there. As the lights become brighter and the shadows longer, people are closer together, physically or emotionally. Conversations are slower, deeper, or completely nonsensical. But they're all genuine. At least in that moment. Then comes the moment when you know it's approaching the end. Not suddenly, but naturally. The music continues, people are still there, but something subtly shifts. Like when you sense the day closing, even while there's still daylight. And you stand, looking around, trying to store that feeling deep inside. The journey home is quieter. The streets are the same, but somehow different. Steps sound more hollow. And you might feel a bit more tired, a bit hoarse, maybe notice muscles you didn't know you had. Yet at the same time, you feel that everything unfolded exactly as it should. The carnival in Lommel, Belgium, on the 15th of February wasn't about the program or exact schedules. It was about people, about atmosphere, about that short span of time when it's allowed to be a little different. Or finally be yourself. Without explanation. And then everything returns to normal. Streets quieter. Colors less vivid. And you might think it all felt a bit strange. But somewhere inside, a calm certainty remains that you were there. And when it happens again, you'll know exactly why you'll return. And then there are those small moments you only notice when you pause for a while. When you stop relying just on music and the crowd and start observing individual faces. Because a carnival isn't just a big picture. It's countless small scenes happening at once. On the 15th of February in Lommel, you could see everything. At the edge stood an elderly couple. They weren't in costumes, just coats, with calm expressions. They held hands, watching everything around them with a smile, as if watching a movie they'd seen many times, yet still enjoyed. Occasionally, they looked at each other, said something, and it was clear they knew exactly why they were there. Not because of the noise, but because of the feeling that the town was alive. A few meters away, a group of young people tried to coordinate their steps, even though each danced a bit differently. Laughter interrupted movement, movement interrupted laughter, and nobody minded. Nobody was counting, nobody was controlling. Everything flowed naturally, without striving for perfection. From time to time, someone lost something. A hat. A wig. A cup. Or just the direction they intended to go. And instead of panic came laughter. At a carnival, things aren't lost. They just find another place for a while. And they often return exactly when you least expect it. The short pauses between sounds were interesting too. Moments when the music softened or shifted. Then you could hear conversations, footsteps, breaths, ordinary human sounds. And these made the whole experience real. Without them, the carnival wouldn't be a celebration, just noise. As night fell, the lights became softer. They added warmth to faces and a new dimension to the streets. Shadows moved with the people, and the entire space felt almost dreamlike. As if you were walking inside a memory even before it could settle. And somewhere in that moment, you realized you hadn't thought about what comes next for a long while. And that was fine. You didn't need to go anywhere. You didn't need to do anything. You just needed to be there, in that moment, among the people, music, and lights. When you finally turned and slowly walked away, the carnival lingered behind you for a while. Sounds faded, colors softened, but the feeling remained. And it was clear that even when the town returns to its usual rhythm, something from the 15th of February would stay in it. And something would stay in you too. Not as a loud memory. More like a quiet smile that appears exactly when you need it.